Welcome to the Explainer. So, today we're going to break down something called DEMAP. It's a brand new educational framework for a world that is, well, it's just full of AI, right? And it's trying to answer one of the biggest questions facing education today.
And yeah, this is the question, isn't it? It's a huge challenge for every teacher out there. I mean, if an AI can just write the essay for you, or summarize a super dense article, or even create an image from scratch, what's left for the student to do? Are they just glorified prompt engineers?
Okay, so this slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. It's like a tale of two skill sets. On one side, you've got AI. And yeah, it's a powerhouse at crunching data and spitting out content. But on the other side, you have all the stuff it just can't do. Things like, making ethical calls, really getting cultural context, or creating something with genuine, original meaning. That stuff, that's still our turf. That's uniquely human.
So this really puts us at a major crossroads, especially for subjects in the humanities, history, literature, philosophy, which have always been about interpretation, critical thinking, and really digging into what it means to be human.
I mean, let's be real. The old model is just not cutting it anymore. You know the one. A professor up at the front, lecturing, and a whole room of students just passively taking notes. It was built for a different era. Today's students, they're not just consumers of information, they're creators, they're remixers. They live in a digital world, so the classroom has to catch up. And that's why we're seeing this urgent need for a whole new way of thinking. So, what do we do? How on earth do we build an education that's actually AI-proof or AI-resilient? Well, that's where this new framework comes in. It's called DEMAP. All right, let's get into it. What exactly is DEMAP? Think of it like a blueprint for learning in the age of AI. The whole idea is to stop trying to compete with the machines at what they do best. Instead, it doubles down on nurturing those uniquely human skills we were just talking about. And this isn't just some theory someone dreamed up. It's actually built on solid learning science. It taps into the things that motivate all of us deep down: the freedom to make our own choices, the chance to get good at something, and the power to connect what we're learning to our actual lives. It's all about leaning into what makes us, well, us. Okay, so here's the core of it. We've got these three big pillars: design, make, and personalize. The real magic is in how they work together to basically tear down the old classroom model and build something new from the ground up. Let's take a look at how this cycle actually works. First up, design. Okay, so when we say design, we're not talking about making things look pretty. Think more like an architect. The idea is that students get to be the architects of their own learning. Right from the get-go, they're in charge. They come up with their own questions and map out a plan to answer them. It's all about ownership. So, in practice, what does that look like? Well, instead of the teacher handing out a generic prompt like, analyze the theme of loss in this novel, a student might design their own research question. Something like, how does the author use the physical landscape to represent the main character's internal struggle? They get to map out how they're going to tackle it, maybe even sketch out some ideas. They're in the driver's seat from day one. All right, next up is the make phase. And this is where things get really cool. This is where learning stops being a passive thing and becomes an active, creative process. You take all those abstract ideas and you actually build something real with them, something tangible. And just look at what making can mean in the humanities. We're talking about building an interactive map of a town from a novel or creating a podcast series about a historical event, maybe even filming a mini documentary. It totally redefines what an assignment is. Because let's face it, when you have to actually build something, you have to understand the material on a whole different level. It really sticks. And that brings us to the third and final pillar, personalize. This is the glue that holds it all together. It's what makes sure the learning isn't just some academic exercise, but something that genuinely matters to the student. It's all about connecting the project to their life, their background, their passions. And this is so important because it makes learning a matter of equity, not just a nice to have. It sends a message that every student's background, their perspective, their story matters. So maybe a student connects a theme from a book to their own family's immigration story, or they choose a project format that plays to their strengths, like making a visual presentation instead of writing a paper. Suddenly, their identity isn't just welcome in the classroom, it's a core part of the learning itself. So you take these three pieces, design, make, and personalize, and you put them all together. What you get isn't just a cooler kind of homework assignment. No, what you get is a totally reimagined classroom.
Yeah, the classroom literally shifts. It stops being a lecture hall and turns into something more like a dynamic lab or a design studio. It's a place to tinker, to collaborate, to create stuff. And the teacher's role changes too. They're not a sage on the stage anymore. They're more of a guide on the side, a mentor, helping students bring their ideas to life.
And what's brilliant is how this DMAP approach starts solving some of the oldest, thorniest problems in education. The canon problem of always reading the same authors. Well, now students can curate their own reading lists around a theme. The coverage problem, that feeling of having to rush through a million topics, this model says, nope, let's go deep instead of wide. And the assessment problem of just endless essays and exams, solved. The creative projects are the assessment. So let's bring it back to where we started. What does all of this mean for our future? A future where AI is, well, everywhere.
Well, it means a framework like DMAP isn't just a cool idea, it's essential. It's actively training students in the exact skills that make them AI resilient. It shifts the focus away from just memorizing facts, because let's be honest, AI is way better at that anyway, and towards what humans do best, solving problems creatively, thinking critically, and bringing our unique cultural and ethical perspectives to the table. And this quote from the source material really just nails it. The goal isn't to be eclipsed by AI. The goal is to lead lives of inquiry and innovation that actually use technology to serve humanistic goals. It's not about man versus machine. It's about using the machine to become more human. So that kind of leaves us with a huge question, right? When information itself is basically a free commodity, you can get it anywhere, anytime. What is the point of education? Well, if frameworks like DMAP are any indication, the answer isn't about what you know. It's about what you can do with what you know. It's about being able to question, to create, and to connect. And maybe that's the real skill we all need. Thanks for joining this explainer.